everybody, and welcome to yet another exciting Linda's Corner. I am particularly excited for this Linda's Corner because it gives me a chance to pick a bone with Linda. You know, everybody thinks I'm here just to make Linda look good. But Linda, let me tell you, I've got issues. More specifically, my users have issues. Because in Clarity's classic UI, we build a lot of portlet pages for those users, and each of those pages has got multiple portlets so that the users have the ability to view data across multiple sub-objects from one single place. But you don't do that in the modern UX. Have you got any plans to address that huge, major problem that's causing me so much frustration in such a wonderful application?
Oh, you're so funny. Yes, we do. We just introduced Canvas configuration. So I think, that's the start of what we're going to lay the groundwork for pages. So let me go ahead and share my screen here, and I'll show you a few things on where we're headed. Okay, there we go. You should be able to see my screen.
I can indeed.
All righty. Okay, so I came into Blueprints here. And actually, let me go to pages real fast. So what we've done is we already had pages. I don't know, you may or may not remember, but we use pages and we pretty much put channels on them, kind of windows into whatever you wanted to go into, right? Internal applications, external. You could do Power BI stuff. I think that's what I've got loading here. So you could have a window into that using channels, or you could do something else, right? You could status reports. I think this probably goes into ours, but looks like it goes into another PBI. But you can do it internal or external, anything that you want to do. But that's all we did. We didn't allow you to add other things. So what we've done now is using pages, we're allowing you to get into a portlet. It's the very first go around. So look at this one. You've got my risks, my issues, my tasks. This is starting to be a little bit more like, hey, my portlet of homepage of where I want to come into. Action item details are on here. So what I'm going to do is let me show you how this works, right? Because I think that's important for everybody to understand. I'm going to go into Blueprints here, and I'm going to copy this one, and let's just call this page upgrade. Because everybody always has upgrades, right? Upgrade Oracle, upgrade SAP, upgrade Clarity, whatever you want to upgrade. I'll click on Edit, and I'll go to Modules, and notice I've got this new canvas there. So I've added it over to the right-hand side, just like I would any other modules. Now, again, this is limited right now, but certainly we will expand it. And you can see the objects down here, tasks and risks and issues and even action items. So we tried to stick with the areas that we knew people would really want, right? I mean, it's kind of like your my daily thing. So I'm going to go back over to pages again. Now I'm in the UX, not in the admin mode. And I'm going to go ahead and click on the row, and I'm going to add a new one. So let's just say upgrade programs. All right. And then over here, I'm going to select that blueprint that I just created, grades. And then I'm going to click on it, and you're going to see I've got kind of a blank canvas here, so I don't have anything right now. That allows me to configure what it is I want. So clicking on configure, I'm going to drag over tasks. Maybe I'll drag over risks. And you can see I'm starting to build it. Now, notice over here you've got this little indicator that tells you how many. I want to say it's unlimited. I'd have to look up exactly how many you can drag over, but I know it's a vast amount. But let's say I drag over tasks again, which I can do. Now, why would I do that? Well, let me click done and I'll show you why. Because maybe I also want to configure this and I want to know the tasks. Let's do go live date. And then in my filter, I'll do go and I'll select go live date. And then I'll go ahead and pick some kind of parameter here. Let's do 2023, something a little bit far out there in the future. And then over here, I will also do the same thing. I'll pick the end of March. So I picked kind of a time frame there, right? And then over here to the right is, like always with all of our grids and capabilities these days, you got a vast amount of, you know, attributes, my goodness, that you can bring in. Now I'm going to click done, and now you can see not only do I have my normal tasks, right? And looks like 528 is a huge amount, but over here I've finited down. So you can do that with almost every single area that you have. So yeah, pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, it's a start. I mean, this is beat up on Linda's corner, so I'm not going to admit that it's really cool, though not admitting it, it's really cool. But I've got another issue, Linda. What about all those action items and processes? Because we use processes to automate as much work as possible. What's Clarity's modern UX going to do to help me with that?
Yeah, and I get that. I mean, you know, most of the customers I work with do a vast amount of processes, right? I mean, who wants to do things manual when you can automate that? Move on the task to the next person or whatever it is you need to do. Well, we've done a little bit of that. Let me share content again. And let's go back over here to pages. And I think my work is probably a pretty good one to show you. So if I go into this one, notice up here in the right that action items. So when I was in that configure button, let me just click on configure again so that you get a feel for that. It was this one, right? So I drug over action items, and now you see that I've got this information right here. I've got open, pending, closed. I can scroll down. I can approve this. I can reject it. I can, you know, do other things, but these are just examples of some of the action items. Now, if I go to action item details, you'll see a little bit more behind the scenes, and this is going to look like, you know, Classic, but the processes, of course, still need to be set up in Classic. Once you set up those processes, you can go ahead and activate them and, you know, call on them in the modern UX. So very cool. I think we're definitely getting there with what you want, and hopefully you can start seeing the semblance of maybe, you know, a portlet that I would come into as my home page, you know, as a worker bee.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, as you say, automation is so important, right? Because we got limited people, we need them to focus on value add, and I don't want them chasing down and moving things around when they don't have to. So this is real progress.
Mm-hmm.
But I got another bone to pick with you. We have a lot of users who are in several different access groups. What can we do with Clarity to give them the ability to see different pages based on those access groups?
Well, we've got a little bit going on there too. So let me go ahead and share my content again. Let's go back into the blueprint so that you can get a feel for how that works. So when I edit the blueprint, remember that I went ahead and drug upon the canvas, and you know, clicking on the canvas shows me a lot of things here. Well, in order to control that information, I'm going to go into system settings, and I'm going to go to home page. And again, from an administrator perspective, now you can see I've got different pages set up and different access groups. So let's say I'm in more than one, or this my work page that you saw that had, boy, tasks and risks and action items and all that kind of stuff. I can give to everybody that's in the modern UX. I can give it to everybody that's a job user over here. I can add other people into this so that I have as many access groups as I want. Now, this is unlimited. Over here, I have to have one page per row, but you can see I can create tons of pages, and I could have a lot of different rows. And then the other thing that I can do is if you're in more than one group, right, what's going to come up first, my work or timesheets? If I go ahead and move that, then it's, you know, first in. So first is going to come up the timesheets because that's the first group that I'm in. So that would be my home pages. So this is just a start. of what we're doing, but I think you get the feel for how powerful that's going to be, and we can continue to add more things. So eventually, it's like your homepage in Classic, and people don't need to go to Classic anymore.
Absolutely, which is awesome. And I think, it's always fun to try and beat you up on you with some of this stuff, even though I usually fail miserably. But one of the great things about Clarity is you guys are so receptive. When customers say, this is really cool, but dot, 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 you do something about it. You listen to your customers, you give them functionality that's not only effective and efficient, but is responsive to their needs. And that's what makes this tool so freaking awesome. Combine that with the fact that your developers are geniuses, or genii, whatever the plural of genius is. And yeah, I don't know why anyone would ask for anything more. It's awesome. Linda, I am going to go away and try and find new ways to beat you up and trick you, but I suspect I'm going to fail miserably yet again. Another Linda's Corner where Linda's demonstrated not only does she have more corners than anyone you've ever met, but she's absolutely on top of this stuff, and Clarity is getting ever more awesome with every release. Linda, thank you so much. Everyone, thanks for listening in and putting up with us, and join us again for the next Linda's Corner real soon.
Great. Thanks, Andy, and everyone have a great day.